While turning a polluted site into a profitable business may require some help, but the city knows it can be done. Northern News Now's Madison Green attended a meeting in West Duluth where city officials shared resources that can help businesses become their own success story.
So it looked like a vacant, just abandoned building to people. Hadn't been painted in 30 years, I would guess. It didn't look pretty.
In 2017, Anna and Nathaniel Bailey purchased land on the corner of Grand Avenue and 57th Street in West Duluth to pursue their dreams.
She was a music director at our church for about 8 years. Went for a change in career. Started making artwork in our 25 by 25 garage. And I joined her full-time about a year and a half into it because it was just kind of really taken off.
But this wasn't always the site of a booming business. It was originally built as a gas station and, as a result, what is considered brownfield land.
Brownfields are sites in Duluth that may have contamination from former industrial uses or other types. So think of former gas stations, dry cleaners.
Because of its history, West Duluth and Lincoln Park are two areas of the city with high probability for brownfield lands, according to Duluth economic developers Emily Nygren and Angie Steer. Although the contamination requires extra steps to clean up, Steer says they're worth taking.
That these are sites that seem like opportunities. You know, they can be an blighted area, which maybe has a lower cost of purchase. That can be really a benefit to going through this whole system to figure out if they are contaminated or not.
One of the city's success stories, Bailey Builds.
It was growing by about 85% a year, and it consistently did for probably 5 years.
Turning brownfields into gold mines. In West Duluth, Madison Green, Northern News Now.
Madison, thank you. Other recent projects the city has used the brownfield land resources for are the Board of Trade Lofts and the Leona Apartments.